we can start, let's start the work session. Pardon? Who, well, we'll go to number 2 if we need to.
Do they know that we're having a work session?
Otherwise, we'll go to number 2 if they just stepped out. But yeah, see if they're out there.
They're ready.
All right, we can begin.
Mr. Mayor, council members, the city council was approached by the Fieldstone homeowners who were present at the September 22nd, 2014 council meeting to discuss ownership of the boulevard trees in the Fieldstone development. The issue at question is the ownership of the boulevard trees. When the city entered into a development agreement with the previous developer, Hartman, the city had agreed with the developer to change the development agreement to allow one of the trees that are usually placed in the homeowner's lot to be placed as a boulevard tree. I've attached the section of the development agreement that addresses the placement of trees. The next is a table of the homeowners association request for replacement of trees with the address and what their request is. I've attached pictures of the trees. The first 3 pictures are the trees that the homeowners association wants to replace. The city has already denied the replacement of 5110 Sundance Run and the 5154 Prairie Point trees on the lot that would have to be planted by the homeowner is the other request of the homeowners association. So that was really the responsibility of the homeowner. The rest of the pictures are of trees staff found that need to be replaced. And the last picture is an example of a tree that just needs to be trimmed, and there's several of them up here also. I've attached a map of the trees that the homeowners are requesting to be replaced. These that the city replaced in last year, and trees that upon staff inspection should be replaced or removed. All of the lots that staff identified as having a dead tree need replacement, removal are vacant lots. And last year when the city discussed replacement of trees, the city did not want to replace trees on vacant lots because when construction of the home occurs, the tree can become damaged. I know we did replace a few on empty lots. Council requested that staff solicit a boulevard tree policy, so attached to the city of Waverly's boulevard tree policy, and representatives from the homeowners association are present tonight. So if you read Waverly's policy, the homeowner is responsible for the boulevard tree, not the city, replacement of it. So, I don't know.
5105 Sundance Run. Doesn't that one just need to be trimmed?
I don't. Probably on that list. Yes. 5105 probably should be trimmed, yes.
Oh, but that isn't on their list even?
No, that was not on their list. That was one of the ones that Kyle and I went up and did an inventory of the trees. And we looked at the ones that they are just saying, 5121 Sundance, 5115 Harvester, and 5176 Prairie Point are the three of the 5 that they want replaced. When you look at the list that I provided to you, right through the black line, everything after the black line are trees that Kyle and I found up there that appear to be either need to be trimmed, replaced, or taken out. And the thing with this little map I gave you, the map might be easier to follow. The yellow are the ones that we think ought to be removed or replaced. The blue are the ones we replaced last year. There's one more we replaced last year, but I couldn't figure out which one it was. And the orange are the ones that they're requesting to be replaced.
Of the orange ones, which ones are on empty lots?
5121 and 5121 Sundance Run, which is here.
Okay.
It's an empty lot. It says empty lot on it. I wrote on them. And then 5176 Prairie Point, which is this one up here.
So if we eliminate those, we have 3 trees to replace.
No, not necessarily, because.
In the that they're requesting, in the
Right.
boulevards.
5110 you've already denied, 5110 Sundance Run, you already denied that one,
Why? Where is it?
right here,
Yeah,
when
but
you first come in.
why did we deny it? 'Cause it's on an empty lot?
No, because it was, you felt it was a homeowner's responsibility because the tree had been planted in '07 or it was a 5-year-old tree. And that was one of the first ones that I brought forward to you when you said, no, we weren't gonna start replacing boulevard trees.
And this was a boulevard tree, right?
Yeah. 5154 down here on the corner,
Okay.
that homeowner, at the time that the homeowner built the home, we didn't require a landscape escrow because, Hartman had, the letter of credit. And they were building the home at that time, I believe, so we never collected a landscape fee that we would have made him put in trees. So now they're requesting us to put in the 2 trees that the homeowner should have put in.
There's no trees here?
On 5154 on the house, on the lot, no, none on the lot, none on the boulevard. But that would have been the homeowner's responsibility, not the city.
Why did we not?
We didn't collect, on all our building permits, we collect $1,650 as an escrow for trees, driveway, and stuff. We didn't do that in the Fieldstone development because they put up a letter of credit guaranteeing that everything would get put in. Hartman did, that's what they wanted to do, that's what the city accepted in the development agreement. Once Hartman's were out of there and we released that letter of credit, then we started collecting that $1,650 landscape fee so that we could protect the city. This is one of those homes that fell in between the $10,000 going away and the city getting the money on the permit. It
And
happened in between, kind of in transition.
before we let Hartman out of that, we had him plant trees.
I don't know where the house was in the construction phase.
He had to plant trees in all the,
And we agreed
X
to
amount,
that, but we didn't have him do this one, and I don't know why we didn't. I don't know if the house was under construction at the time, and we thought the homeowner would do it, I don't know. But the homeowner hasn't even planted any on the lot.
Seems like something the
So why is it
homeowner should have
missing?
Hartman do it though.
What's telling us that it's missing?
I mean, there's no tree there.
Right, is there supposed to be one?
Yes. According to our development agreement, all lots need 2 trees, corner lots require 4.
I understand that. I understand we're supposed to have trees in a yard,
Right.
but why are they saying it's missed, that we've missed it?
I don't know why they're saying that.
Who says there should have been one there?
Well.
Or one of you the
Ordinance.
homeowners, at that house?
Yeah, well, no, none of that house, we're our board of directors for Fieldstone.
Yeah,
I think the agreement that, he wants to state that they have is that every lot is basically supposed to have 2 trees on it. So it looks like an issue that somehow you guys missed it, I mean, that's not our fault that it got missed.
no, every lot's supposed to have 2 trees.
Exactly, now it doesn't have
I
any,
get
so the
that.
trees should have been there, whether you should have charged on the permit at the time or with Hartman, I mean, that's.
But that's not
That
some-
one's not our problem there, I mean.
I don't think it's the city's problem.
What we'd like to know.
Wait, I'm still on this tree.
Okay.
Still explain why it's missing.
There's not one there, nothing's been planted.
Well, why is that the city, why are you saying the city's missing it?
Is that not part of the city's agreement, to have
No.
the builder put the tree there?
The builder or the homeowner is supposed to
Yeah,
do
okay,
it.
so that's where you hold the money out.
Right.
So.
But we didn't have any money withheld on that lot.
We didn't hold any,
You
so that,
can't help that.
that's
Part of
the-
your permit, you said, it's even said that's what you do if you hold that.
But not on those permits we did at that time, because I went back and pulled the permit.
Somebody should have been checking it if there was, once there was a changeover from Hartman to the city issuing a permit, that's probably your
Agreed.
responsibility to make sure.
Agreed,
there's
but
a
it's
smooth
now
transition.
not the city's responsibility to replace that tree. It probably, if we have any recourse at all, we need to be going back to the homeowner and having them put in the trees,
Well,
if we even can do that at this point.
you remember that you appointed a committee to sit down with Hartman, and it was Krista Paul, and I think it was Bruce. And we sat down with Hartman, and we went through all the trees that they were gonna plant. And said, these are the trees that you'll plant before we'll release the letter of credit. And that lot, we didn't. So I don't know, if I go back and look at the time, maybe the house was being constructed and that's why we didn't do it. Why didn't Hartman bring it up and say it needed to be planted?
Well, why would he?
Well, because he agreed to boulevard trees. They planted several boulevard trees under that agreement.
Either way, I don't think it's our responsibility to pay for the trees. I'm trying to figure out which ones we're responsible to pay for replacing and which ones we should not.
I agree, we shouldn't pay for that. We haven't paid for any trees on the initial plan, but we maybe should have been a little more diligent in requiring it to get put in. That I
Correct.
agree with, but I don't
You
see.
had the line of credit to pull that money out with Hartman, it fell through the cracks between the city and Harbin when there was that changeover when he went bankrupt and stuff like this, and that's what the responsibility were. You should have been checking on to make sure everything was done correctly.
We did.
It's not our responsibility, because the agreement was to have trees put in there, boulevard trees, 2 trees per lot. That's the, city's requirement. We were living up to that, and it's just because Harbin was putting them in, and then also he failed. Now the city has to take over, and if something falls through the cracks, well, who's responsible is it?
It said
Well, I don't think that,
No,
that
not at that point,
Hartman
because
requires.
the city should say, you have to have 2, before we're gonna release everything, you have to have 2 lots out.
We didn't have any money to hold though,
Right.
that's the problem,
And you
so
cannot,
we,
you can't hold a CO for free, that's not, you
Well,
can't do that.
if we had that money, then yeah, 'cause like, I put my own trees, even the city had the money, I had to come up here and give them
Right.
receipts and everything, and did it on my
Ask one
own.
question, because I know before you let Hartman go, you had to finish the streets, you had to tear out these curbs and gutters that were damaged. You had to take care of all the trees, so they just kinda took care of that. And what you told me, is you held back $15,000 against a line, you had a line of theirs for future things, for the trees and other future things that you didn't get done, and you still held that money back.
No.
And I don't know what, well, that's what you told me at $15,000.
We had a $10,000
Okay.
line of credit
Okay.
that they wanted released, and that line of credit, and you can go back and look in the minutes from the city council meeting, because it'll be there.
No, I
It
don't
says
know what
that-
it was, maybe what
That says that we released that line of credit once we agreed to a landscape plan and what trees they agreed to plant.
Okay.
And we came up with a whole plan where we deleted trees, took out some trees, or we agreed on certain ones and didn't agree on others. And that plan was presented to the city council, and they approved that plan,
Yeah.
and then released the letter of credit, once the trees were all planted.
But that, once those trees have been in those plants, I mean, a lot of
Well, ultimately, the homeowner's paying for them all, do we
Yeah.
have any recourse to require this homeowner to put them in?
Was the developer responsible to put 2 trees in everyone's yard?
We made the builder.
That's what it seems like you're saying.
No, the agreement was with the city, you had your own committee, you said, you just went through and, well, all these trees are gonna be planted, stuff like this, and the agreement was already made. But some point, somebody missed it, you know, so I'm understanding.
Maybe there wasn't a plan to put one there.
Well, I guess
There's
that's
a
how,
plan to put
they said
trees
that, well, the
in
trees were gonna be positioned for the
Pardon?
whole development, you just get done saying.
The-
"Hey,
the
I
agreement-
got somebody level up."
I have to get the plan out.
The developer agreement was to put a tree in everyone's yard?
No.
At our last meeting, when you said,
Yeah.
you made the agreement with Hartman that
Yeah.
one boulevard tree would suffice for
One of the-
equal to
right.
lot trees.
Which is in the development agreement,
So
of
it
which
is
I
in the agreement.
I provided to you.
I understand that a boulevard tree that the developer put in would count towards the city's, that has to have 2, and that counts as
Requirement.
1. I get that. I'm trying to understand what's,
So, if I'm understanding correctly, what your thought is that we should go back to the developer and fight them to put the tree back in,
No.
that should have been there?
I don't,
It's the
we're trying to
homeowner that's
figure
I
out
don't
paying.
know if there was
Homeowner's
ever a
ultimately
responsibility to put a tree there. No one's told me that he had to put a tree there.
The developer is supposed to enforce all the lot landscaping requirements.
It's all an agreement for every lot.
Isn't it an agreement? Every lot that the developer's been putting in? No,
It
not
says-
true,
it
not
says
2.
Developer's agreement, that they are to put, there's 2 trees supposed to be planted on each lot and 4 on the corner lot.
So that the developer was supposed to put them in.
Well, no, no, they never put them in. They make the builder do it, and then the builder turns around and makes the homeowner do it. So it ends up being the homeowner that ends up
I don't
doing
think
it.
the builder made the homeowner do most of that stuff. It's either the builder did it or the developer did it. Hartman did it or he made the builder do it. But there's supposed to be one on every lot in that area, and that was agreement that he kinda made with the city. Hartman and you guys made that agreement. The 2 of you made the agreement, it wasn't us. We're just trying to make sure.
I'm still confused.
So it's the developer that's supposed to.
Yes,
enforce it.
developer's supposed to do it.
The
You
lot
held money to
landscaping
the
requirements.
developer, make sure you live up to his
Says
things.
the developer shall enforce the lot landscaping requirement as a mandatory provision in each purchase agreement for the lots within the subdivision. This provision shall provide the closing and sale of the lot. So it's put back onto the homeowner. It isn't, it's.
So the
not-
developer just needs to make sure the homeowner did it,
Right.
and he didn't do that.
No, between the developer, the city, the developer made the agreement with the city about the trees in front. I believe that's what the agreement was.
No,
And I-
It's 7.03 of the development agreement that is signed and recorded with every lot that's been, that every lot that is platted, and this is recorded with Carver County. So when someone buys a lot, they know what the development agreement is, because the covenants and restrictions.
Never the homeowner that had to put the tree in, was always Hartman.
Well, Hartman may have done it, but in the
Yeah,
rest,
Hartman
may have
took
done
care
it.
of that,
He
the
may have.
city, and that was agreement that you understood was right, did you?
No, it
Did you not
says-
understand it's
it says
supposed to be a
the
tree?
developer shall
lot?
enforce the lot landscaping requirement as a mandatory provision in each purchase agreement for lots within the subdivision.
Why did you make them evolve, why did you make them, take care of that one lot that doesn't have it? I mean, that,
Oversight.
if he had made the agreement with you, then it was up to you to make sure he lived up to the agreement. You even had money set aside for that.
The
For the
51
Make sure
overall,
you-
but it was for the overall, landscaping improvements
Yeah.
of the whole development.
Well, that's
It was
part
for
of
all the trees of the trails,
Yeah,
and it was for the, for Discovery Park,
yeah.
it was for all those trees, it wasn't just for the lot, the trees with the lots, and I'd have to go back and look
Yeah,
at the.
let me just say, I think what my concern is, I speak for myself, and is that we wanna make sure the community stays nice, it looks nice, it presents itself nice in the community. That's why we have an association, we don't have junks parked outside of any house, and that's part of the association rules. We wanna make sure that this doesn't just go to trash. Now, we understand the new lots, we don't have a problem with the new lots, that, you know, once a new lot, we don't have to get trees put in, as far as my opinion, and your opinion might be different, that we don't have to get those replaced. If the builder or somebody coming in has to put them in, the city should enforce that, you know. And, we're just saying, the other trees that Hartman did, and actually, you had a guy that was, your waste department, the guy was the head of your waste department, I believe it was, retired.
Public Works?
Yeah, Public Works,
Yep,
he retired.
Yep.
And I saw him beginning of the year, and he said, I came out of retirement, the city asked me to take over this job. He said, don't worry about the trees, he said, our water and everything else, we'll take care of it. I even have this little thing that checks the soil, so we'll make sure everything's right. So, we did, and some of the trees died.
Well, can I give you what I think is my side of that story, is that we bought trees from Tim O's. Tim O's guaranteed those trees, and we paid the extra $50 to have those trees guaranteed. So Tim is probably the one that told them that they didn't want them watering them, and Tim has a gauge where he measured the dirt, because we ended up buying one later, so that it wasn't a city
But
guy,
that's
it was
not-
Tim O's with the land.
But that's not what we're talking about here.
Well, that's
that
what
has
he did.
nothing-
Well, that's not a problem, then, if he warranted the trees.
Yeah, but how old are the trees?
All the
Have
trees,
replaced
all
them.
the trees that he planted,
Have
all the trees
replaced
that he
the trees.
planted are fine.
They're all in blue, they're still
Right.
good.
They're still good, right, they don't need to.
So all
be
these
replaced.
trees that are died are old trees.
Right, yes.
Is there, on this 51, the lot that's missing the trees, I wanna kinda different issues. I don't feel the city should pay for it, but do we have any leverage to, the homeowner is ultimately responsible, whether they're paying, like in my case, I put in myself, or the builder's doing it and jacking up the price of the home, $400 or whatnot. The
I
homeowner,
would usually call Hartman and ask him if they play the whole our tree.
That-
It got more.
I'm just wondering if the homeowner or if Hartman's would do it, or there's, I agree there should be trees there, I just disagree that the city should pay for it.
I'm not sold it got missed.
Yeah, I don't care who pays for it, you know, it's just kind of like a right of way, the city's right of way, and that's the way we understood from Hartman. And, you know, when we talk to the city, that we take care of it. Same way on the pass, you know, on the pass, that's property that the city maintains. You guys, you mow it and take care of everything else.
We have a map that shows what lots and areas we're responsible for mowing.
Are we in agreement that the two empty lots, the vacant ones, are not getting replaced, don't need to be replaced? But if they're dead, we need to pull them out. Are we in agreement on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So there goes 5121 Sundance, and there goes 7176
We need to pull them out? Okay, okay, so we pull them out. But then what happens when they build, then we're done? I mean, when we build, do we need to put them back in?
Then the builder has
The builder
to,
needs to put it back in, we just were asking you to enforce the builder to put it in. You know, 'cause that's what you
Well,
have,
we
you have
we
two trees.
enforce everyone to put 2 trees in.
Yeah, I know, so it's not.
Except
it's
this
not-
one.
yeah.
Well, no, we have some ordinance in place that everyone has to have 2. Now typically, a lot of our ordinance, we don't enforce unless we hear complaints on. That's just a small town. I mean, we can't enforce every ordinance. So if someone called up and said, hey, this person doesn't have 2 trees, we would go take care of that. So we don't necessarily we don't have staff to drive around and make sure everyone has 2 trees, so,
And we don't
So-
expect it to, I mean, that's why we're bringing.
well, you're kinda saying, now we should be calling these people, say, hey, you better get 2 trees in your yard.
No, ours came back to the responsibility wasn't that, what these trees are on the boulevard that were either dead or damaged. And where we're gonna go in the future, what's the city's plan? You put in a plan for our, possible waiver of the ordinance, are you gonna adopt that and say that's gonna be the new city?
Well, we don't know.
ordinance for boulevard trees? We need to know what we're going, so we can work with our people. on it.
Boulevard
They have to
trees are
come get the building
homeowner,
permits.
the city doesn't own them, right?
So I
They have
think
to come get the
I think
building permits
we oughta do we oughta do a policy then on it. And I got one, you asked me to go out and find policies on, and I received one from Waverly. So it tells you maintain this, to plant them.
And that's
what should be
great
planted.
where we can get in the future and set up, we're trying to figure out where we're at right now, I mean,
The lots are empty, just when they come get their building permit, you tell them they have to have those trees.
we
Well,
already,
that's
we already have that in place.
That's a
I
done
know.
We
deal.
already have that in place,
Well, then,
that's what I'm not understanding.
that's fine. Because we're not asking for the lots are empty to be replaced, we're just asking for some of the other ones.
And our position
Okay.
would be that one of the trees would have to be on the boulevard.
So the one where it says or there's one missing, that one's off the table? That one-
5121 Sundance, 5176 Prairie. They're both vacant lots.
And all the other ones that are
Yeah,
in
it says
yellow,
they're vacant, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
all the
Okay.
other ones in yellow are all empty lots, that you get issued trimmed or pulled off.
So why does it say 5115 Harvest Curve House,
There's a
replace
house there.
tree,
There's a house there.
and
That's gonna
5115 is in yellow and it says empty lot?
Because I think they have the wrong address. This is the address they gave me, 5115. When I go find 5115, it's an empty lot. So I don't know if they mean 5115 or if they mean 5111, or if they mean what they mean. But those house numbers are from the homeowners association. And when Kyle and I went up, this is what we found, that it was 5115 was an empty lot.
So confused.
They're both empty, so
Right.
we're sitting on that one, there's nothing there,
Okay.
they're both empty lots.
So then there's
So
that one.
5115 Harvest Curve is empty as well?
Okay.
Okay. That's just a dead tree there too, right? So we are down to 5154 Prairie Point, the house that's missing all of its trees, and 5110 Sundance Run.
See, that was like a tree that's blown over the park, you know, once you replace it. No, if you take that's what beautifies the park.
5110,
Yeah, I mean, that was a tree that just got blown over.
it's in the park?
No, it's not in the park, but it's on a lot, but why wouldn't you replace it?
See, they're saying though that, but we're saying that those two trees are the homeowner's responsibility, but now we don't want it to be the homeowner's responsibility, we want it to be the city. You're saying city, have them put the 2 trees in, make one a boulevard tree, make one a tree on the lot, and now he's saying, no, that boulevard tree ought to be replaced like a tree in the park.
Well, if you,
Switching-
it's
switching
isn't
gears.
it basically city land, the city's right away, that's city's land.
I think that's a different issue. We have to first decide what we're gonna do with the issue at hand, and then we need to decide, are we taking care of those boulevard trees, or is it the homeowner's responsibility here on out?
So do you wanna wait until you adopt the policy and then decide on that one? You've already decided you weren't gonna replace it.
I don't think boulevard trees are city's responsibility,
Why did we decide we weren't gonna replace it?
what am I missing, why do you guys think, why does the board think that?
Because we were told that they were city trees, not to touch them, that's why.
Well,
That's why we
I,
haven't given up it well enough alone.
someone said not to touch
We
them?
could intervene
We
sooner.
told this year
Who?
too.
Yeah.
One of
I
your
told you
public
that.
works director,
The
whatever.
guy was a public works guy, came and I
But
talked
those
to
are
him
city trees, do not touch
earlier, and he
them.
said, yeah, he
There's
said,
our
don't worry about them, I'll take care of myself. I'll make sure there's water, I haven't got no weeds, I'll get some soil, make sure they're fine, it's our responsibility.
Our responsibility, our land,
So,
don't touch them.
we
There's
took
no one that
two
bothered
words
to call City Hall and ask anyone at City Hall,
Why would we?
Why would we call
Should
it,
we not-
contradict your employee?
Yeah.
because it wasn't our employee.
Oh, you guys,
It
come
wasn't our
on,
employee.
really?
I mean, there's, first of all, I mean,
Come
you're
on.
releasing
It wasn't our
that tree that
employee.
is,
He wasn't our employee?
They're not in, they're not in front of our house, they're across the street from our house.
That's,
Are
now
we
then,
supposed to run a hose across the street and water them?
Not if he came out of retirement.
I think we have that.
Jared's retired before.
Oh.
Okay, we gotta stay on track, okay, all right. I don't know if the city owned trees, I think that's where the confusion's coming in, right? Is that
yeah.
where we're at, okay. And someone may or may not have said, don't touch 'em.
Just who,
Well,
Yeah,
there's several
basically
people
that.
that, so.
Now, was he the tree farmer besides the city worker or what?
No. And I
I
don't know if
who
anyone
the-
even said that. I don't know who
We
they
don't
told.
have any name, we don't know who you're
He's the guy
talking
that was in Public Works Department, he
So if I
retired.
call all these homeowners, they're gonna say,
Retired.
they were told not to touch them.
anybody that
Well, he said down at waste thing down here, down there, and he retired from there, and now he's hired back by the city, and this was his responsibility, he said he even has a little gauge to check this out and make sure the water is correct on it. He said, so just leave him
Doesn't
alone,
sound like
take
Greg,
care of
but
it.
it's a possibility.
Well, you have to look who
Something
you
that
have
he
for an employee who took care of those trees. I mean, I don't know if it still works for you or what.
Maybe it was
He did
Mike,
at the time, that's what he told us, so.
Mike Wagner. He was watering that one when,
Dave,
but he didn't retire.
We replaced, we're down to 3 of those, so we have a lot of these.
saying that.
Can I, out of character? We'll find out, but still.
Land picked out, and then come up with
Doesn't
whatever
matter.
your new ordinance or policy is gonna be, so we can get back.
I don't, my opinion would be, they're not city-owned trees, so the homeowner's responsibility would be my
Was
opinion.
it your opinion then that when they come in for a building permit, that you're not gonna tell them about this, or? I mean, we wanna make sure that they put these trees in if they come in a new building.
Oh, no.
It's
We're
built.
holding escrow money now,
And we,
so.
not after the house gets built, they said, well, no, we got it done now, we didn't have to do it.
But that's not, that is our policy now, so yeah, I think
All
we
right,
would
okay,
enforce that.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
okay,
it would
so-
be, they would,
So if they come in and don't
We
do
know
it, we
that.
come back and ask the city and. we-
oh, absolutely.
In fact,
Absolutely.
there were two trees,
I do agree with that.
Okay.
there were
all
two
right.
trees up there that were pack smart, if you guys recall, either last year or the year before, that didn't look very well when I went and looked at them, to release for $1,650. And you withheld $500 till spring, until we made sure that those trees came back before we released the escrow. So we do enforce the
Okay,
I
that's
think,
all.
I think we do.
We'll take care of it.
I don't think they should be city trees. How old are the trees?
Well, I think that the meeting started about '05, didn't it?
I mean,
Remember?
I mean, so they haven't been watered for 9 years?
No, all the people, the houses,
A lot of them were.
have water, them, taken care of them.
See, and originally last meeting, I was under the impression these were all brand new within a year-old trees,
No.
and that's where they and we put them in and said, don't water, but
Yeah.
these are, some are 8, 9 years old?
Yeah.
I don't, that's where,
Most
that's
of the
where,
dead trees are the new ones from last year.
no, they're not. No.
Well, they
There's
put
two
in
right
more
across the
trees
street
than
from
those.
According to this map, I shouldn't say no, they're not, but according to the map that did you guys have this map?
We have.
The color-coded, the blue are the new ones.
Wasn't that all, also before you release apartments?
No, I could be wrong, they could be wrong.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of trees that got put in at one time, and that's relatively, how long that been,
2 or 3 years.
3 years tops?
Mhm.
With our-
Maybe 2010.
3 years, yeah.
I was on, I remember talking about apartments about that, so, and then the last.
And I think
So I'd say the majority of the trees are those younger trees.
And I think
The
when
ones
we,
where actually where the homeowners purchased the house right away, initially, those are the older trees that typically come trees out of there when they build. A lot of them are punching in probably 3 years ago.
okay. Other,
So none of the ones that were replaced in 2013 are the ones that they're asking to have. Why are they blue?
Where, those are the ones
Blue are-
that were planted in 2013.
was replaced in 2013.
But if that's under, if
Are
they're
they
under
okay?
warranty by your
Yeah,
tree
they're
guy,
all
then they
fine.
still should be
Okay.
replaced.
So they're all fine.
But they're not, they're not dead.
They're not dead.
And all of these ones in yellow, someone should remove.
He put in more trees than that,
He put in
Yeah.
five trees.
because he planted some on the other side of
Well,
the
this
well.
is only 4.
They all have a little blue tag on them.
Probably walk in the car.
They all have a blue tag left on them. He went up and looked at them all.
You have just on one side of the road, there was somebody planted on the other side of the road.
He went up and looked at them also, and he did not find any that were dead. And I went up and the ones that I could find that had the blue tag on them yet are the ones that he planted.
And
So
he-
if I missed one, I missed one.
I think there was 2 plantings, wasn't there, too? That might help the confusion. Didn't Hartman plant a whole bunch like 3 years ago, and then
2010.
Olds planted some like the next
2013.
year? Okay.
And I thought some pine trees got replaced, some on the road in, or no?
No, we took some out, they
Oh,
were dead.
you took
And
some out.
they didn't have to replace, there was enough trees around that.
It'd
they
fill
needed
in.
to replace. Yeah, I think Kyle did that. That looks nice, I mean, they don't need anything.
I would agree.
So why is 5716 orange, but it's not even on here, on this list?
Fifty-one, 16? Or 57?
I think it's 51, isn't it?
Is that a seven or one?
It should have been 5117.
So it's 51.
5116.
Yeah, 51, 16.
And I think that, yeah, maybe that was the one that they requested to replace. The list that.
Where is that tree located? In the yard or in the boulevard?
You're on the boulevard. Right, 15, it should be 16 that they're requesting.
And that's not on the list?
Yeah, it's on the list. It should be 5115 should be 16.
Oh, I see. That's why it says house. So really, there's only 2 trees in boulevards. In the house, with houses. 5154, we talked about, and I think we all agree it's not our responsibility to pay for those trees. If we have some recourse and ask the homeowner to put them in, so be it. 5116 are the 2 trees that I'm down to, and 5110 that have homes that were planted in the boulevard, and
5110, that tree is almost probably 7 years old.
so how did it,
Do you replace a 7-year-old tree with 4.5, 5-inch caliber?
I worry about setting a precedent.
Well, I know. Do you replace it with what was there, or do you just replace it?
We're just
Or
saying,
do you not
we get
replace
those to replace, just like this lake thing, and we decided to put who maintains them from this point forward.
We definitely need to do that, and then it looks like we need to get someone in there
But these
to be
don't-
responsible to pull up the
But
dead
these
ones.
don't seem to be you come back to the maintaining, but these trees that are dead aren't a maintaining issue. They're 7-year-old trees.
One,
I mean, if we go back a
I
lot,
mean,
who maintains on a vacant lot is what your maintenance guy.
the vacant lot I get, I mean, that part
Then we
absolutely,
can come back and say, replace all those, even if they're dying, they're probably not gonna make it next year.
They'll get new ones when they get built.
I think what we're saying,
Two, and then look at it.
I think what we're saying is the boulevard trees are the homeowner's responsibility.
But you understand they were told, well,
I don't,
I don't know what they were told 7 years
The
ago.
thing is, if you, when you're on the boulevard, you got vacant lots, you put them in whatever agreement that you had, and you said you're gonna take care of maintaining the water. Well, who's supposed to water it? Am I supposed to run a hose from my, get extensions of 50 vacant lots to water these trees when they use water?
That's why
Those
we're
can
not.
get new ones when a house gets put in.
Yeah,
so I
that's
think
why we're not
the-
redoing those.
Exactly, that's what we're talking about, so we're saying, wipe the slate clean with those trees, just put those other two in, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, 'cause they said they're gonna hold the builder responsible for doing that when he moves into the empty lot.
Do we have this issue in any other development? No other development.
And we've already held the developer, or the builder responsible for the 2 trees. I'm not where the houses are built anyway, so.
Yeah, and that's fine in the empty lots, I
And-
understand your concerns.
Is it,
I'm still not convinced that the city should be replacing a homeowner's tree if it dies after 7 years. If the one further up dies, should we replace that too?
It was wind damage.
No,
I worry about the
Wha-
precedent a
wha-
little
wha-
bit.
why,
At this point,
I'm not convinced why the city is responsible for that, that's where I'm having a hard time. I may be I could maybe be convinced, but I'm not,
we didn't have the understanding of whose trees those are. We
it,
couldn't pick
it's
them
the
up. We put
homeowner's
trees
tree,
in.
they're the homeowner's trees.
I know,
And
but
that's
then
why
if it's my
there's
tree, if it's my tree, I
But
can
it
pick
died
out
in
a tree
7
and say,
years.
"Hey, I
It
want
wasn't a
this
matter
one
of not
tree
watering
planted here." I didn't have a choice. They
It
just dumped
wasn't a
tree
matter
in.
the city said, don't do it, they're 7 years old.
So whose
I mean-
responsibility is it? If it's, I'm paying for it, then I should have a choice on what kind of tree I wanna put in there. I didn't have any kind of.
That's
choice.
part of the developer agreement, the developer put in a boulevard tree, that's part, but they're homeowners' trees, so why do you guys
Who made the
think,
decision last year after Hartman was out, what trees were gonna get planted in?
Hartman
I
and
don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
He had a
The
choice
city
of
made a
X
decision
amount of
what trees
trees.
they're putting in, so you're making those decisions.
You're not answering the that's a separate issue on who's putting in what kind of trees, but why is the city responsible for a tree that's 7 years old that dies in someone's yard?
If they're your trees, you gotta take
They're not our
We
trees.
were maybe
No, no, no.
misinformed. We were
They're not our
maybe
trees.
misinformed on
It wasn't a matter of not watering them, they're 7 years old. That would've died after the first year if it didn't get watered. I mean, it's a numerous things that could have killed the tree. That's my, if these are 1-year-old trees, I think it's a different conversation, but I keep coming back to they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah, if they're,
Why are they, so if the one further in dies, is the city responsible for that too?
No,
Why?
it's not on the boulevard, it's not on your right of way, it's on that homeowner's property.
we're somewhat misinformed too.
Pardon?
The boulevard trees on the homeowner's property, we just have to.
I know, I understand that, yeah.
We don't have.
Yeah, it's still your,
I understand your point.
I mean, some cities have the boulevard trees, that ordinance that live, that they're trees, some cities don't, I mean, so, it's probably 50-50. We don't
Is it
know
a
which way- we don't know which way
possibility-
the
So
city
bas-
is going.
Is it a possibility that the park board replace those trees and then we get a clear policy going forward as to who's responsible for them? Since we don't have this problem in any other development, I can't see someone else coming up and saying, you know, are we sure we don't have any other people that are gonna come up now and say, you replaced their trees, so you're replacing ours
Why,
too?
I'm not gonna guarantee that.
of course they will. Why
Are you
wouldn't
kidding
they?
me?
I'm wondering if we have any more dead trees in boulevards.
We don't have.
We don't have any other boulevard trees on the.
Utility easements we do,
In the utilities?
We'll put that as part of our covenant.
What do you mean?
like on
There's
property
dead
lines,
trees?
there's dead trees between people's houses.
What you wanna do with the house.
You know, we got a utility
And then we
easement
put out
between
part of
every
our
property line
covenant that
essentially.
here's what's going on.
Right.
Right,
Why,
yep.
Why
there's
not?
dead
We don't know
trees
which way
in
to go.
those.
We don't know which way to go.
But they're not boulevard trees.
No, but they're on city
Easements.
easements.
So what's,
I'm just saying it's a solution and it's only the 2 trees. We do have to come up with a decent plan going forward though.
One, that would be.
I don't think we have to replace them with the same caliber.
I'll tell you, I'm against replacing them. I'm sorry to
It
say it.
was just a
I-
solution,
I-
so we can
But
move on.
just so, right now, we can't make any decisions tonight on the work session. We have to bring it back to council next time, so we can't make a decision in a work session. But I, not saying that one person, but I disagree. I don't think they're city trees. Again, if these were 1-year-old trees and we thought maybe someone told you not to do anything with it and that seemed like that
Somebody that works
happened,
for the city, so
that-
you can see why we're confused.
then I can see maybe
Yeah.
trying to work something out, but 7, 8, 10-year-old trees and they happen to die, I don't know why it's the city's
Well,
responsibility.
that's,
I agree
we're both confused on this here. The main thing I'd like to see is that they enforce the ordinance with any new door that goes in there. That they put a tree that's likewise, I think the was like a 4-inch,
2,
2.5-inch caliber.
2 of them, yeah.
I agree with Tyke, I think that'd be a good solution, we replace those 2 trees, and then we're gonna have to deal with these other people that are gonna buy these lots, where now we're gonna take those trees out, and they're gonna have to purchase 2, where otherwise they would just have to purchase 1 tree to put in that lot. We had all the boulevard trees in on the vacant lots already.
Yeah, when they're
So now
gonna,
that new owner's gonna have to buy trees.
the builder's gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
But they do everywhere else in town too.
Oh,
Ev-
exactly.
everywhere, yeah,
But-
that's not
but
field
then
stuff.
all the other ones that you buy a lot that's got a good tree, all of a sudden you're.
I don't think any lots have good trees
No lots
on the new
have good trees.
lots, so.
Oh, no,
There's-
on a vacant lot?
Oh, maybe in Fieldstone, but the rest, like,
Oh, the
there's
rest.
40 lots behind me, there's not
But
a
I'm just
single
talking about
tree.
what happened up there at Fieldstone.
That's all right, just in the future, so we keep
And
the
this is what we have to
lots.
deal with then. So I say we deal with that, and we just have to deal with the trees from these new people coming to the future agreement that we made.
Okay.
I don't think it
Well,
was not buying a,
we'll have to take it to, we'll bring it to council next meeting, I mean,
What are we bringing? Are we gonna bring back those 5110 Sundance Run tree, even though we've already agreed on not replace that? Do we want that brought back on the agenda for the next meeting, that one and 5116 on Spur? Are those the 2 trees we're talking about?
definitely a policy about them.
Okay,
Bought it down to the 2 trees, 5110 and 51.
is that what you want?
And definitely something, some sort of a policy that we can review.
Yeah, that we all understand.
Yeah, so like the one like, say with Waverly, if that's the way you wanna go, that, okay, it's our responsibility, if you're gonna just trim it.
well, we can look at,
You know,
I mean, we can look at clarifying what we have right now. To me, it's clear, the city doesn't own any trees on any private property. I don't know why that's unclear.
Okay, it wasn't.
I don't know why we need a
It wasn't made
policy.
clear to the people that moved in.
I think it's plenty clear,
It
but
wasn't made clear to the people that moved in there. The department.
they had, did they call? Have you ever had a call on
The department
that?
always replaced all those.
We've
trees.
never had a call on that.
Yeah,
It
this year
seems they
have a
probably
few
did
years ago,
understand.
We don't have a policy like that, when it, Waverly got, who's gonna maintain one of these branches, started going out into the road and stuff, like this, the clearance for vehicles and stuff, who's responsible
that's where I think we need to clarify some of the policy on those sorts of things, absolutely, I would agree.
You have a new development coming in, say,
But-
2 years from now, and you're gonna have the same issue with residential, why not put a policy in place that got it a couple of years started?
This is why you don't do boulevard trees.
I think both are nice.
You do not do
I do
boulevard-
too, I think they are too.
They're nice, but they create a lot of work for public works, and they create a lot of angst for the city. And that was the whole reason with planning all the boulevard trees, was gonna be all the same size.
I think they look nice, so I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
I like the look
It's
of
very
it, but-
confusing to the people when it's thing, and probably to the city too, because the city made Hartman replace all those trees. So of course, we thought they were the city's responsibility, you know? And we have one of your city workers tells us here, you know, it's confusing. So now, let's, we get straightened out, get a clear policy, we're all happy.
All right, we'll bring it to council then, and,
This is why you don't do boulevard trees,
Why
I
you don't do
agree, 'cause
boulevard
it creates these problems,
And you have public works, and they'll agree.
if people want them,
I
they,
mean,
But
we
you
gotta
make
get the
streets
storm
nice.
sewer.
it does make the neighborhood look nice.
But it's too late for that now.
well, they're
We've
there,
already-
they're there.
You don't have to replace them.
Well, can the policy be go pull them all out if they're ours? And be done with it?
Yeah,
And then have the homeowners all put in another tree to make sure they have two?
and never do boulevard trees again,
I think it's something we consider.
okay?
Well, we talked about that the last time, that
Something you
that
could
could be a
try.
consequence of,
It's an option you have, I don't know if you
Yep.
get reelected, but,
Well,
No, Ronnie?
I think you're right. And it's not really an option I want. And it's not an option I want either, but,
You know, we're just looking for some clarity.
yeah,
To the thing, and so
No,
I
I-
think
and
that's
I-
what
I
we
know.
want to, so.
no, I understand. All right, we'll bring it to council
Okay.
at the next one then, 2 weeks. If it's not, will you let them know? Make sure they know, okay.
Take an agenda from me, and you got everything that you guys
Yep.
got.
Yep.
All right,
All
thanks
right.
very much for your time.
Yep,
Thanks.
thank you. All right.
and we also need to address whose responsibility it is to pull out all those
Well,
dead
we'll
ones.
come back with a list that we're gonna, we'll come back with a recommendation of what we wanna do.
So did one of the trees get
With all the dead ones?
broke since we've taken your pictures?
5110 come back front is the one that is broke. It
What?
was broke when it came in.
It's just a stick?
Yeah,
Oh, that's the 5110
yes,
one, okay.
yeah, that was back in
Yeah,
August,
yeah.
I think.
Oh, I thought you got a picture of it.
I don't
You
think
didn't-
so.
Oh, you didn't, and that's what I was like, oh, did one of them, okay.
No, I don't
Got
even know
it.
if the stick is still
It's
there.
still-
Going
it
into
is.
winter, we're not gonna put it in anyway, I
Stick's
think
still
we
there.
should decide after the first of the year.
Possibility.
All right, number 2.
I have a question, why would Parkboard take the tree?
I don't know, we had,
Parkboard didn't take the tree. City
we
did.
didn't, oh, why did I suggest that? Because we have a budget for trees and,
No, I didn't know. Came out of-
All right, number 2.
The city was contacted by the property owner at 745 Kincourt Street, and whether the city would like to purchase the property for a future public works building. I'm just bringing it forward for discussion. Property owner will be present to discuss the lot with the city council. This lot is adjacent to our water tower out in the Shinkor Industrial Park. I provided you with a map that shows where it is in the industrial park, and then a map or the property card for the property itself. And Mike is present in the audience, I don't know if he would like to address you about the sale price, or, I don't know. I don't know if you're even interested, but I said I would bring it
And
forward.
you're the property owner? So you contacted the city to see if they had interest?
I was here on other business, and I heard that you were looking at possibly a place to
Okay.
build a city works building, and I said, I'd be very happy to work with the city on something, and maybe if there's any different kind of financing type thing you need, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, good.
My goal is to get it sold,
Let's get it sold.
or win the lottery so I can put up what I want there.
There you go. Tree farm?
That's my
we'll
previous,
replace them.
building plans, I didn't quite agree with all the things.
Oh. I've-
Did you wanna sell your lot or not?
You guys mind, you can do whatever you want.
Where are we at? I mean, we're at the very beginning stage of even talking about anything from that, so I don't know if we're even,
Putting it out there, you know.
I think it's certainly something we consider. We,
Right next to the water tower, yeah. Gates.
Prime spot in town, if we ever did put one up,
Yeah.
it is deep that spot.
I think it's something, I don't know if we have anything, but what it was in the CIP for a building?
Not for, till,
Why,
in 2017,
It's supposed to be next year, but it's not.
2016, 2017, or something, yeah.
Which is the fire department lot?
The one on Jim Corner and Highway 25 down in the corner.
First one on the left.
Is the lot that's proposed big enough to house the fire department and the public works building?
Probably not.
6 acres, that'd be pretty tight, I think.
How big is this one compared to the fire department lot?
Well, this lot is,
This is 1.64 acres. You know what the fire department lot is?
So usually you're
off
what,
the top of my head, I'm not even gonna try. I don't remember.
for some reason, and I'm not gonna be held to it, I thought the fire department one was a little over 2, but don't.
I don't think it's that big, I think it's maybe one, this is 1.6. I think that one is maybe like 1.2 or 3, something like that, or 1, not much over maybe.
It looks, just looking at the aerial photo, it looks like it could be about half the size, maybe a little larger than
Can you go to
half.
Carver County GIS?
That doesn't work very well on the mobile.
I was told my lot was the biggest one up there.
It is, it looks like it, yeah.
It looks like it is.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I think it's something we certainly need to look
It is,
for. I don't know
I
if
said
it's
it- yeah.
anything right now. We have it in the plan. We're gonna have to start looking at buying, if we're looking at a building, I think, you know, getting into, when the new council gets on board, getting into planning into, next year. But I don't know if anything we're ready right now. It's certainly good to know it's there and you're willing to work with us. I think that's good information.
1.12, 1.1.
1.1. Fire department.
I'm way off then.
But I don't know, you know,
I don't know where I got that from now.
obviously having to have some discussion, is there a reason we couldn't swap this out for a fire department lot and try to sell that one out on Main Street for business? You know, trying to do something like that too, so that's why I'd like to know where, you know, anything for sale from a planning perspective.
How much are you asking for it?
Really appreciate the 165.
165?
Okay. Well, it's certainly something I think we need to, you know, maybe as we get into 2015, start planning, those sorts of things.
What did we pay for the fire department lot, do you know?
Oh, 120.
191.
Oh, it was? I thought it was 120.
I think that's a lot too.
Yep.
It's on the Highway 25.
Yeah.
It's right next to that
The corner
stormwater
lot,
pond,
yeah.
which allows them to be able to drain using the stormwater pond. That
Yeah.
was another plus as to why we did that lot. I'd have to go back and look.
Location.
Yeah. But that's certainly something to look into, is swapping out and trying to open that up to some businesses, that's, I mean, or public works, those are all things we need to start planning for.
So could how big is that, water tower thing? How much of that do we have? Do we have to that second gray line there? And do we have the little,
The little piece in between is, an easement for a road, actually.
You have to go to stage 2 of the
Yes.
industrial park
Yep.
development.
so that's all, ours though, right?
I think Rich Cornerstone owns that piece.
That piece.
We
And
just have
then
an easement over it,
And then we own
water tower.
that little piece where the water tower is. So if we wanted that whole thing, we would have to buy that piece from Coors, but we have an easement there, so why would we?
Need to.
And this lot is not big enough to put both on.
Combine the 2 lots, you know?
I'm wondering.
Right. Okay, well, thank you. We'll certainly keep that in mind as we move in with planning. I appreciate it, yep, thank you. Anything else on that? Any other questions? Okay, we go to salt storage.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Merson, the city reconveyed the Cranberry back to the state to no longer have a place to store salt sand. Public Works would like to have, discussion with city council about salt storage, and where you should be storing it. So,
Where do you recommend?
Right where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, there's, I mean, if you still wanna use the creamery, you definitely could, it's just a matter of it, you do get kicked out of it. I don't know how strict they're gonna be on it, but if we, then I'd have to haul, depending on how much I have in there, I'd have to haul it out and stash it somewhere else, and if it's in the middle of winter, that could be kinda risky, that's why I don't really wanna, where I mix it and where I put it is where I kinda want it to stay, at least throughout the winter. I thought about putting it right outside the public works shed on the north side of it, and getting some jersey barriers and stuff, and tarping it and all that kind of stuff, but I'm kinda hesitant on that too, because I know if we had any water runoff of it and anything like that, it washes right down in the park. It wouldn't be good. Environmental wise, I know the MPCA, I think has regulations against it. They try to get cities to build salt storage pits and stuff like that.
Have we heard anything back from the state on the creamery?
But I kinda have an idea of, if I rearrange some equipment in the shop, I can maybe rig up something to put it on in the third stall, the far side, but I'd have to really organize and figure it out. But I don't know if I could get it, I kinda wanna be able to mix 100 ton whenever I start mixing, and I know the creamery will hold that, but I don't think I could get it exactly 100 ton in the shop.
Well, is it as simple as reaching out to the state and asking them if we can store there for a year or two, or, it might be as simple as that. If not, I would look to you to recommend somewhere
Yeah, that's,
that you would want it, or where it should be, and if that means getting a little shelter or some sort of something for over, and we need to do it, we need to do that. I mean, but I think we've been fortunate to be able to put it there, but if we need to do it, we need to do something, but I'd look for you for a location. And then some sort of building or tarp system, whatever would go over it to protect it, but.
Yeah, I just don't know who to contact.
Do it for a
I would say leave it there for
I
now,
know,
I don't
just
see
leave it.
anything happening with it this
Let
year.
them make
can't
iron
imagine.
chicken.
They're not gonna
Because
come out and know.
if
I
they,
can't imagine they do anything this
right,
year.
if they make him, take the salt out, they're gonna make us tear that hockey rink down too. I mean, that's
Right.
where we're gonna try to put it there, so
And that's
we
where,
all got a problem.
eventually, I think we reach out to them and see what we
I
can
think
do.
they'd work with us on it.
Yeah. Nothing's
They
gonna
aren't doing
happen too
nothing with
fast.
it. Right, and that too. They aren't
Yeah.
gonna move too fast on anything anyway, so, if they move it off.
So, yeah, start thinking where you would want it and what you would need for it, so we can start planning for that. Eventually, we'll make the decision just to pull the plug and get it out of there and do what we need to do also. All right, good with that?
I'm good with that.
All right, anything else? All right, we'll adjourn then.